Shifting Gears was released in 2018. This is directed by Jason Winn. It's written by R. Keith Harris. And we have a cast including C. Thomas Howell, John Ratzenberger, Emmet Walsh, Brooke Langton. Great cast, great performances. Interesting narrative, but terrible pacing for the first half. The first half of this film is really dull, and I honestly thought that my review would be, I don't like it, I don't recommend it. But once the main point of the narrative got going, and it did take about half of the film being an hour and 40, we absolutely could have taken off 20 minutes without losing anything. Once it got going, I really enjoyed it. It's about a family and their family business, but they need money. So they end up entering this dirt track race. And that's basically what the film is about, and the progress leading up to that, and then, of course, the race itself. And I'm not going to say what happens with that. But once that kicked in, once we got to that part of the narrative, it became really interesting. And I feel like, and this is just my reading of the film, I feel like the first half of the film was for us to get to know the characters, their dynamics, their relationship with each other, obviously building up the issues with finances, but that doesn't need to take up that much time. We could have done that in 20-25 minutes, and that would have been so much more reasonable, but it just seemed to take forever for anything to happen. So, real issue with the pacing for the first half, but once the narrative really got going, it was really enjoyable. I found that I actually became emotionally invested in it. I wanted to know what the outcome would be. The characters are quite well written. The family as a unit is quite interesting. The performances are really good. Ratzenberger's in it a decent amount. So if, like me, you're keen to watch it for Ratzenberger, I think you'll be quite happy there. Would I have watched it if Ratzenberger hadn't been in it? It's probably a film I would have watched eventually, but I wouldn't have rushed to it. But honestly, that being said, based on the second half of the film, I am pleased that I had a reason to watch it, because I ultimately came away from it feeling satisfied with the experience. So very, very slow to begin with. But once it got going, I'd say Shifting Gears was a decent experience. If you're curious, if you're keen to see what it's like, I'd say definitely check it out. And I can also point out that you don't need to have an interest in this kind of racing, because I most certainly do not. Yes, I was emotionally invested in that part of the narrative, but not because I cared about racing, but because I ultimately came to care about the characters. And that meant that I was able to enjoy that journey, even though I'm not into racing of any kind. So that also is something that I think the film did really well, allowing viewers to care, even if they don't care about the actual race itself. So credit where it's due, that was very effective. And if you're a fan of car racing, I'm sure you'll enjoy that part. So ultimately, Shifting Gears is a good film. It's not a great film, but we have a good concept. The second half is well executed. The characters are well written. The performances are really good. Ultimately, it's a decent enough film, and I am happy to recommend Shifting Gears.